What up, yo?
Hey, we got Eric in the house. What's going on, man?
Hey, another day in paradise, baby.
Love that, man. As you can see, Eric brings in the energy, and he is currently training several sales, closers, and wholesaling businesses every single day, and he just masters that art. So, Eric, man, I want you to take it from here, man. Everyone here is either a member of Hustle Media or part of the team. And obviously, man, we put together this masterclass so that you come in here and give us all the nuggets. Maybe tell us a little bit more about yourself and obviously what you've been able to do in the last 16, 18 months in this new game. So, man, good having you here.
Appreciate you, brother. And my bad, I'm being a couple minutes late. I was just doing an espresso shot. So I'm like all fucking jacked up right now. So how's everyone doing? Good? Yeah?
Is everyone doing good? Like present number one, you guys are ready for this? Let's get it.
Right on. Cool. So how many people we got on here, man? 25?
So far, 25. We're going to get more people.
Bam. Awesome. So I don't know. I'll just introduce myself real quick. So my name is Eric Cline. I reside in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I just moved here from South Florida, which was an amazing place. I lived there for 12 years. I was actually born and raised right outside of Chicago, Illinois. So I was born and raised in the Midwest. And I'll give you the elevator pitch on like my life. At 13 years old, I started using drugs and alcohol at 13. And I come from a family where like middle-class family, I was a middle child. And for whatever reason, I felt like I did not fit into my family. And it was my own feeling, right? And so at 13 years old, the first time I ever put alcohol to my mouth, I fucking blacked out. Blacked out. I mean, blacked out, pissed on myself, threw up on myself, you name it. The reason I even bring that up is I masked my feelings from 13 to 28 years old. And when I say like I progressed to the drug that ultimately brought me to my knees was crack cocaine. And I was smoking crack as much as I possibly could for 6 years. I mean, I was jumping out of fucking windows in my underwear and hiding in closets with knives. You name it, I was out of my mind up until I was 28 years old, running the streets of Chicago. Literally, I was a lost soul, not knowing what to do. And at 28, I didn't have the balls to take my own life. So it was like an 8-day run I was on. I hadn't slept for 8 days, hallucinating like a motherfucker. And I heard the SWAT team show up, ambulance show up. My mom was out arguing with the paramedics saying, don't worry, he's dead, just leave him alone. And long story short, the paramedics on 3 were going to kick a door in to come in and revive me. And on 2, I kicked the door open and I was standing in a hallway by myself in my underwear, meaning I hallucinated it all. None of it was real. And the reason I bring that story up is one is so I don't forget where I come from. And for me, it was a matter of fucking life or death. Like I did not want to die. There was a half pint of vodka, just enough. I had $8 to my name. And it was just enough for me to hop on a train and go from downtown Chicago to my hometown, Rockford, Illinois. I downed the vodka to get enough balls to walk out the front door and face reality. And I hopped on this train. My aunt met me at the train stop, and At 28, I got the date tattooed on my knuckles. It was August 9th of 2009. I decided to start living for the first time. And I just didn't want to die. Like, drugs was killing me. I was not a productive member of society. My family disowned me. I didn't have any friends that even wanted to be around me. So I was by myself, and my aunt threw me on a plane, brought me, flew me down to South Florida. I checked myself into a treatment center, and for the first time, I got out of treatment of 60 days. I had like 60 some days clean at that point, and I was faced with reality, like what the fuck am I going to do with my life now? I was a carpenter up into that point. I had been kicked out of the military. I had, by the time I was 22, I had 4 DUIs, 5 driving on suspendeds. My license was revoked in 2 different states. I was just a fucking disaster. Had barely any education, damn near got kicked out of high school. I graduated from an alternative high school. And my first job out of treatment, I was a busboy. I was a busboy at a restaurant, and I would take 2 buses there and 2 buses back. I was living in a halfway house, and I can tell I'm all over the place. That motherfucking espresso shot has got me going, bro. I need some water or something.
Really good, man.
So
Backstory, man.
yeah, like this is me all the time. A little bit of espresso shot just doesn't really do all that much to me. But I got out of treatment. I got a job at a restaurant bussing tables, because that's all I thought I was worth at the time. 28 years old. I was a union carpenter prior to getting blackballed from every company in Chicago, where like nobody would hire me. So I had worked at this restaurant for 2 weeks. I still have the paycheck they gave me. For 2 weeks, they handed me a paycheck for 146 bucks. For 2 weeks worth of work, $146. My wife, girlfriend at the time, picked me up, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going back to Chicago. Like, this shit is not for me. South Florida is not for me. And she's like, well, Eric, what are you going to go back to Chicago for? Like, your family still doesn't believe you're clean. None of your friends want you around. Like, why would you go back to Chicago? So she brings me, she's going to drop me off at the halfway house. And there was a white piece of paper hanging on the wall. And that white piece of paper has changed my life for the rest of my life. I will forever be grateful I was put in that position, because it was a piece of paper that said telemarketers wanted $15 an hour. Telemarketers wanted $15 an hour. I answered that flyer that was hanging on my door. From that day until today, I've done well over $100 million in sales. And all of it has been over the telephone. I don't do anything face to face. The reason I got good at sales over the phone, when I first took the job, I was insecure. I thought people would judge me because all my tattoos, right? And I was like, fuck, no one's going to buy from me. It looks like I just got out of prison, fucking all my tattoos and shit like that. So how can I still do sales and make money? Well, I hid behind a phone, and I got really, really good at hiding behind a phone and doing sales. I've been doing it for 13 years now at a very high level. My very first company that I started, I took it from concept to building that business to where we did over $30 million a year in gross sales. 100% of the sales were done over the telephone. We were doing a little over $3 million a month. And I was getting ready to sell that. My very first business I ever started, I was getting ready to sell 51% of that thing for $54 million. Life-changing money. Fast forward, didn't sell it, got sued. lawsuits, fucking settled for millions of dollars. And I now for the, I jumped into the wholesale industry 15, 16, 17 months ago. And man, I've hit the ground running. I feel alive for the first time again. I have like my mojo back. I wake up every day. I don't have to go to work. Like I absolutely love what I do. And something that I'm bringing to the wholesale industry, something that I'm bringing to the wholesale industry that I believe it lacks is an actual sales process. I see a lot of people in this industry and it's nothing against them, but I believe the message that is being delivered to the wholesale industry, especially the newcomers just getting in, is the sales message is all wrong. You don't get on the phone with somebody and try and disqualify a lead. You absolutely love the one you're with. If you're somebody that's only getting 1 to 2 to 3 leads a day, you take every fucking lead to the mat. I don't care what they want, how much they want, or what their situation is. You take every lead to the mat. This wholesaling industry, we have annihilated these sellers. I mean, annihilated them. What do I mean by that? We're all calling the same data. We're all using the same skip tracing companies. We're all pounding the shit out of these leads. These sellers, for them to still be answering the phone for us, we need to be grateful. We need to be grateful. Not every fucking homeowner in America has like changed their number or blocked wholesalers somehow. Like, so I don't know what else, like, I don't know if this is an open form, Esteban, but I'll shut up for a second, let you talk, and then you tell me what else we're going to do.
All right, man. So the way that we want to prepare this is obviously people know now about you and what you've been able to do. Obviously, your company, you've been able to build it through a sales process, because now you have like how many closers under you? Like, and you're the sales manager right now, and you're looking for a sales manager position to remove yourself from that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So how many closers you got right now?
Yeah. So we've been doing this for, let's say 16 months, might be a little more, might be a little less. I'm just going to pull real numbers up so I don't fluff anything. We are right now, we've closed 142 deals, all assignments, for $3.2 million. And then we have in the pipeline right now, we have just over $1 million in the pipeline right now.
All right.
And I just got into wholesaling a little over a year ago.
That's great. So here's the thing. I love everyone to understand your sales process, and the entire system that you created around it, because you right now are teaching other wholesalers sales on, is it like a 6-week program or something like that? Yeah. So if we can get this going, man, like we talked, the masterclass of the perfect sales process that you run through, and kind of walk us through that, help us understand how that goes. That would be an excellent way to get this going.
Awesome. Cool. So I'm a firm believer that on our end of the call, our conversation should always be the same. Always. You should have a process from hello to goodbye that you and your team follow. The seller's name, their address, and their situation may be different on every call, but your structure of a phone call should be the same every time. So I have created over years a 5-step sales process. You can use this selling ADT home alarm systems. You can do it doing credit repair. You can do it buying homes over the phone, right? For wholesaling. It's a process. So and I'm going to go back to the value of a lead. I don't know how everybody in here is generating their leads, but if you're using a cold calling service, okay, if you're using a cold calling service or you're cold calling, for that seller to still pick the phone up and answer the same questions this industry has been using or asking for years, what's the age of your roof? What's the age of your AC? And what upgrades have you done? More than likely, that's what everybody or majority of the people on this phone call or this Zoom are asking. Those three very basic questions. If they're still answering those questions and saying, yes, I want to sell, and here's the reason why, put some respect on that lead. Get on the phone. The only thing that's going to separate you from your competition is the experience that you can put a seller through. The only thing that's going to separate you is your pitch and the experience. What do I mean by that? When you call a seller, the very first thing is your intro. Your intro. What is the intro? You are going to, and I can, like, I deep dive into it big time in my training, but I'll give you an overview. So an intro is establishing who they are, who you are, taking control of the conversation, and setting clear expectations of what's going to happen on the phone call. Okay, that's step one. Hey, Jim, this is Eric with TLC Home Buyers. How you doing today? Great. Looks like your property was referred to us by Home Finders Network. Why do I say that? It's just some generic name, right? All my leads come from either PPC or a cold call company. So it looks like your property was referred to us by Home Finders Network. They thought we would be a good fit for you. Shows here in the notes, you're looking to sell your property, right? I never ask, are you looking to sell your property? I always assume. So I assume every single time. The last thing, if a cold call company calls them, gets all the information, and it makes it to your CRM, there is a motivation there. Don't ask them if they want to sell, assume they want to sell. All right, and it looks like here in the notes, you don't want to, you want to sell the property because you're done being a landlord. Is that accurate? Looks here like you want to sell your property to get your equity out. Is that accurate? Most our leads come with some sort of a motivation. It looks like here in the notes, you want to sell your property because the market's hot. That's a motivation, in my opinion. So what I want to do on this phone call today, Mr. Seller, I'm going to give you one of two things by the time we hang up. I'm either going to give you an approval with an offer or a denial with a reason. We're going to see whether or not your property qualifies to be put into our portfolio. Then I pause, right? I do a pause. Then I want to take control of the phone call. I want to take control of the phone call. What did I not say in the very beginning? We're going to buy your home as is, all cash, no commissions. I don't say any of that in the very, very beginning for the simple fact I don't want to sound like the last person that called him. I want to separate myself from the competition. As long as he knows I'm on the call to talk about the house, that's all I want him to know at this stage of the game. And that I'm potentially interested in buying it. After I go through all that, I'll ask him, hey, John, real quick, grab a pen and paper. I want you to jot down all my information. Why do I do that? I want to gain control of the phone call. Most of your calls are not happening with a one call close. Why do you do that? Nobody else in the industry is doing it. Everybody gets all the way to the end of a pitch trying to buy a home, and then they'll make an offer and the seller has to say, what's your name again? I want my name front and center for when I make that offer. They don't have to think of, who am I selling the house to? It's sitting right there on a piece of paper. My name, first and last, name of the company, telephone number, website. I'm going to have them jot all that information down. After I give them my phone number to the office, I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Seller, repeat the phone number to me real quick, just so I know you have it right. Why do I do? There is a method to all of my madness, right? Why do I have them repeat the number? Someone can remember your name. Someone can remember the name of your company. Someone can remember your website. Nowadays, nobody remembers phone numbers. So when I ask him to repeat the phone number, just to make sure you have it right, I want to know if Mr. Seller is really doing what I'm asking him to do, or he's just yesing me to death. Did I really take control of this phone call? Right? And some of y'all are probably thinking, well, what if he doesn't say the number right? Well, you ask him, hey, John, are you really writing this stuff down, or are you just yesing me to death? Grab a pen and paper, please, and write this information down. You want to gain control. Okay? So that's your intro. Again, there's a lot you want to ask. Is this a landline or a cell phone? All in your intro. There's a lot that your intro should be right around a minute to a minute and a half. After you do your intro, you go into your fact find. Your fact find is the most important part. Well, one of the most important parts of the phone call. And you're gonna find out why. Why is this seller willing to stay on the phone with you again after he's taken 100 phone calls already? And we all know we're not the first people that have called this seller. I say this all the time. The hardest part about our job is every phone call they got prior to us ever calling them. Who would agree with me on that, right? The hardest part is every phone call they've received prior to me ever making that call to them. A lot of people have messed these sellers up. They don't know how to talk to them. They say they're going to give them an offer. They never call them back with an offer. They've answered the same question time and time again. What's the age of your roof? What's the age of your AC? And what upgrades have you done? So after you go from your intro, I wish I had my board clean. All right, here we go. You have your intro. Then you have your fact find. Fact find is, again, why are they willing to stay on the phone with you? When you ask somebody, there's a lot of information that you want to find out in the fact find. There's going to be obstacles that you know you're going to have to at least knock down or address before you get to a close. What are some of the obstacles you can't get around? You have to address it. If it's an owner-occupied home, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? What's their time frame? Have they started looking? These are things you have to address. If it's a tenant-occupied property, have you talked to your tenants? Where are they going to go? Are they aware of everything? Are they aware you're going to sell the property? Again, these are obstacles you cannot, you have to either knock them down or address them. I need to think about it is something you know at the end is going to be an objection that most people hear. I need to think about it, right? How do you get ahead of the I need to think about it? You ask questions like this, and this is in the fact find. How long have you been thinking about selling the property? I want to know that before I ever make an offer. How long have you been thinking about selling the property? If they tell me 6 months, I'm going to ask, are you and your spouse on the same page? Why do I want to know that? I'm getting rid of all this ammunition that I'm gathering. It's for the very end where the dance happens and most people aren't prepared for it. So if I can gather, and this is in fact find, your fact find, you continue throughout your whole pitch, right? You always want to be digging for information. When I ask somebody, are you and your spouse on the same page? Yeah. Hey, let me ask you a question, Mr. Seller. When's the last time you and Mrs. Jones or Mrs. Seller talked about selling your home over a dinner, right? When's the last time you guys talked about selling the property over dinner? Well, we were just talking about it 2 nights ago. How did that conversation go? She's ready to roll. She's already got a house picked out. Boom, cool. I'm going to jot that down. I'm going to use that ammunition at the very end when he tells me I need to think about it. I know it's going to come, right? So if I have all my bullets ready and cocked, ready to go, at the very end, after I make an offer, And he says, well, you know what, Eric, I got to think about it. I can say, John, you and I have been on the phone for 45 minutes. You told me 30 minutes ago, you guys have been thinking about this for 6 months. You've already made your mind up. You're selling the home. Your wife said 3 days ago, she's already got the house picked up. So you've made your mind up. Why would you want to go through all of this again? Is it something that I have not done to where you want to say, I need to think about it? Is it me? Is it the price? Is it our company? Do you not understand the process? So I know I jumped from fact find to like an objection, but I'm giving you the reason why you have to gather all this information. If you do everything right on the 5 steps, the close, which you can't see this, the close in negotiation should be the easiest part of your pitch. If you've done everything right from hello to make an offer, the easiest part should be locking the deal down in negotiating. Because by the time you get to an offer, hopefully they are negotiating with somebody they like, trust, and want to do business with. Okay? So let's continue some obstacles. Other offers. You always want to, you want to know whether or not you're the only person they're talking to. You want to knock this out. Is there any other family members? Credibility, emotional attachment. Like all of these are stuff that you have to deal with on a phone call. On the fact find. If somebody, let's say somebody wants out of a property because they're done being a landlord. This is how most people handle the motivation of wanting out. I see here in the notes that you want to sell the property because you don't want to be a landlord. You want your equity out, you're downsizing, whatever, your job relocation. I always immediately go into a third party story. I'll say, you know what, Mrs. Seller, it's crazy. The last 3 properties that I've bought have all been from somebody that doesn't want to be a landlord. It's crazy. Like, it's the only people I'm talking to right now. The reason the last one, Mrs. Jones, didn't want to be a landlord anymore is she had her granddaughter living in the property. She wasn't paying her market rent. She felt like she was being taken advantage of. So ultimately, the easiest thing for her to do was just sell the property. What she did when she got her equity out, the money she made, is she had paid off $25,000 in credit card debt, had a 17% interest. She was carrying this around for like 8 years. For the first time, she's debt free. So I understand you don't want to be a landlord, but why? So what did I do right there? I said, I understand why you want to sell the house. I used a third party story to let the seller know this is not the first time I've dealt with this. The last person I actually helped, this was their scenario. This is the reason they sold the house, and this is what they did with the money. So I painted a picture of exactly what happened, and I always attach the money, the money they got to a problem they fixed. And then after I paint that picture, I go back and I ask the person I'm on the phone with, and why don't you want to be a landlord? And then I shut up. I want them to open up to me. If someone bought a home as an investment property and now they're selling it, there's a reason why. Why are they getting out of that investment? So you always want to figure that out. You want to dig as deep as you can. So that's step 2. Step 1 is intro. Step 2 is fact find. Step 3 is the house. Step 3 is the house. 80% of your conversation should not be about the house. 20% of the conversation should. 80% of your conversation should not be about the house. 20% should. When you get into the house, start outside and then go in. Don't ask questions that these people answer day in and day out. I always leave 4 questions till the very end. What's the age of your roof? What's the age of your AC? And have you replaced the windows? I save all of those to the end of my conversation. So when we start outside, we're asking questions like, have you, what's the neighborhood like? Is there a lot of rentals, a lot of homeowners? Are you on a double yellow line? If so, what's the speed limit on it? We're qualifying every single property, right? So it's not a given that you're going to purchase it at the end. You're qualifying it. When you ask a question like, are you on a double yellow line? If so, what's the speed limit? And they say, Eric, what's this have to do with my house? We say, every property that we buy, we're going to do one of 2 things, either fix and flip it or buy and hold for a rental. So the underwriters in the back office are always looking at every property through one of those 2 lenses. These are the types of things they need to know. What's the speed limit in the front? If it's over 35, typically they don't buy for rentals. I'm just here asking the questions. I enter it into the system. They're looking at the property as we speak. Okay. You want to ask, is there any damage done to the outside of the house? Was there any upgrades that needed to be permitted? The neighbor to the left, the neighbor to the right, is that an owner occupied or a rental? Are there any aggressive animals that live in those properties? Do you have a fence in your backyard? Who's ever asked these kind of questions? Probably nobody. Nobody? Yeah. Again,
if you guys have any questions while everything's happening, drop the questions in the chat. Obviously, like we'll have people asking questions maybe at the end. But if you guys have any questions, drop it in the chat so he can answer it.
Yeah, anything. And listen, I'll stop. Like, I don't need to sit up here and just preach the whole time. Like, I am here to help you in any way that I possibly can. So if you have a question right now, by all means, unmute your mic and ask it. Anybody. And don't talk all at once. All right, cool. I'm just going to keep going. After we talk about the outside of the house, you go to the inside of the house. One question we do not ask to any seller is, what upgrades have you done? Why don't you ask that? Questions here, unmute. Okay. Is there a specific script you use? Yes. So I have in my office, I have a 9-page script that I have created. 9 pages. From hello to goodbye, I have created a script for my office. And why is that? In order to scale a sales organization, if you want to get past being a solopreneur and become an entrepreneur, right, and start building a team, you cannot let people come in off the streets, as experienced as they may be, and have 5 people saying 5 different things. You cannot do it. It will not run right. I was told before I came into this industry, this model cannot be scripted out. It blew my mind that people were running businesses within this model, scaling a sales team, and they didn't have a script for them to go off of. Any great movie that you've ever seen, every movie has a script. They plug the actors in and they follow the script. They put their own personality into it. Any great movie you've ever seen has a script. Any good elite team has plays. It's a script that they're gonna follow. So if you're gonna build a team, I highly, highly encourage to have a script for them to go off of. It's a roadmap for them to get from point A to point B and allow you to scale your business to where everybody should get consistent results. Okay. So a script is, it's a must. It's an absolute must. I don't care what you're doing.
So Eric, so obviously you got intro, right?
Yeah.
Then how many steps in total is this framework so that whenever, let's say someone with a different personality, like for example, there's a salesperson, just like you said about the actors, they plug in their personality in the script. If someone has a different personality, how would you mold them into this type of framework?
You mean if the closer has a different personality?
Yeah, the closers. Yeah.
Yes. So it's a process, right? It's a sales process. Just like you go to an assembly line, man, when they're making anything, there's a process that goes behind it. So for me in any business that I've started, I take the sales process, put it in, and I have all different walks of life on my sales floor right now. I got a gentleman that's 21 years old, energetic as shit, never done sales before. I have a female out there that did leasing agent. She was a leasing agent for apartment buildings. I have an older gentleman out there that was in the timeshare space for years. And I plugged them into the seat, and I don't expect them to do anything for the first week outside of read this verbatim. So I'll hire somebody, I'll train them for 3 days, I'll put them into a seat, a desk, I put the script in front of them, I'll leave them alone for a day. I won't pay attention to them for 1 day. I'll let them sit there. The next day, what I do is I listen to their recordings. If they are off anywhere on my script, I correct it. I said, no, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that. You need to read this verbatim. After a week, after reading a script for an entire week, they should understand the flow of it, right? So by week 2, they're starting to try and plug their own personality and word tracks into it. But you always, the best training, in my opinion, that you can do is always go back to the tapes and listen to your team. Like we were just doing that today for an hour. We were listening to recordings, and I'm a firm believer your team won't do what you expect. They do what you inspect. Your team will not do what you expect from them. They will do what you inspect. Love my team to death, but you leave them to their own devices long enough, they're gonna be off in left field, not knowing it. Cool. So let's run through the 5 steps real quick. You have your intro, you have your fact find, finding out why they're on the phone with you. I can only take notes so fast here. Will Eric share his script? I know it's a lot of information, Robert Brown. Your intro, your fact find, you have your pitch, which is the home. You start outside, you go inside. When you walk in the home, you do not ask them what upgrades have they done. If it's a 1978 home, open the front door, Mrs. Seller, and walk me through the property. Tell me what I'm going to see. I start off with that line every single time. They're either going to talk your brains off, or they're just going to say, oh, it's move-in ready. It's a great property. We hear that all the time, right? It's a great property. It's move-in ready. Yeah, okay. So then what you want to do, if it's 1978, rather than saying, what upgrades have you done? Say, I see it's a 1978 home. When we walk through the front door, is it still 1978 on the inside? And then I shut up. Let them tell you what has changed. If not, I would expect it to still be 1978. You want to walk through the entire house, ask questions. What are the floors like? What are the countertops? What are the cabinets? Electrical panel box, all the stuff, right? Is the carpets clean? Holes in the drywall? Do you have popcorn ceilings? You want to get as much information as you can from these people. Why? If you lock a deal up and you go to sell it on the ass end, your seller or your buyer is going to want to know this stuff as well. The more equipped you are to know about the property, the easier it is for you to sell these things on the back end. You want to know everything about the property. After you talk about the house, put them on 2 holds. After you talk about the house, I appreciate everything you've given me. I'm going to put you on a hold to go back to see whether or not the property qualifies. You leave them on hold for 3 minutes. You sit there, you let them stew, you let them think about it. By this time, you've asked them, how much money do you want? They may have said, it's none of your business. I want to hear your offer. Is your spouse available? No, she's at work. What's your time frame? 30 days. Like, you should have asked a lot of questions by now. When you put them on hold to go back to speak to the underwriter, and all you do is mute your phone and you sit there for 3 minutes, that person has 3 minutes not knowing you are listening to them. All you're doing is muting your phone and you're sitting there like a fly on the wall. As soon as you mute the phone, they may be like, hey, honey, if this guy can get us $150,000 for the house, are we going to sell it? Bam, you just got your number. He just said the wife's there. He told you 20 minutes ago the wife isn't home. You asked him how much he wants for the house. He said, none of your business. You just got 2 pieces of information that this seller did not know you were listening to him out of them. So when you put the person on hold, use these techniques to your advantage. Don't put them on hold and like start fucking thumbing through social media, looking at how many likes you got on your last post. Pay attention to the seller. Listen to them. Sit there for 3 minutes. If you do this for the first time, I literally had a guy talk to his dog. Cool, awesome, that's great, no bullshit. It works. Come off of a 3-minute hold. Be like, you know what, Mrs. Seller, by this time, you should be talking to somebody that likes you, trusts you, and wants to do business with you. They've been on the phone with you for 30 plus minutes. They've wrote all your information down. You've built great rapport with them. And now you're seeing whether or not a property can get qualified. They just sat on 3 minutes worth of hold, right? You come back on the line and you say, you know what, Mrs. Seller, I don't have good news, but I don't have bad news. They actually have 3 questions I forgot to ask you. What's the age of your roof? Boom. Now I'm asking the same questions all the other jokers are asking. Because what I didn't want to ask them up front. Why? Because I didn't want to ask a question that was going to trigger an emotion from the last person he talked to. I did not want to be bundled in with all the other wholesalers that he has talked to. By the time I come back from my first hold, I have separated myself so far from the pack where when I ask, what's the age of your roof? What's the age of your AC? And how old are the windows? He's not associating me with the other people. So I'll always ask those questions and the foundation. Is there any issues with the foundation? I'll save those 4 questions when I come back from a hold. And then I'll say, is there anything else you think is important? They have not said yes or no to qualifying the property. They're putting everything into consideration right now. He's going to say, no, I've told you everything. Perfect. Now you're going to do a trial close. You're going to say, one of the underwriters asked me, if we can get to a number that makes sense for both of us, are you willing to make a commitment today? You want to get a yes or a no, a yes or a no. If they say no, why? Why not? Because they're putting that into consideration on whether or not they're going to make an offer. The last thing they asked me I know you said you needed 30 days. Realistically, though, if we get to a number that makes sense and we agree and we're going to sign an offer letter today, is 30 days realistic for you to get everything packed up and moved out? The reason I asked that question again, I want them to go through the motions of answering it again. Because if they're answering those, if they weren't really interested, they may give you just some bullshit answer. If they have to think about it, they're engaged. They're truly interested, right? So you ask those questions, you put them back on hold. You let them sit for another 3 minutes. Another 3 minutes. You put your phone on mute and you sit there and listen to them. You will be shocked at what these people say when they do not know you are listening. You will be shocked. Some of it's hilarious, but a lot of it is information you need to close deals. It's information you need to lock a deal down. You put them on their second hold. And I'm using all real life examples of us utilizing holds. Second hold, honey, if we do not sell this house, we are absolutely going to have to file bankruptcy. Honey, if we do not sell this house, we will not be afford to pay off these credit cards. Honey, if we do not sell this house, one of them, I shit you not, put them on hold. Him and the wife started praying to God. Oh, my dear God, if you can just get us $100,000 for the home. It was $30,000 less than I was going to offer them. Oh, dear God, if you can just get us $100,000 for the home. My offer was going to be $130,000. I put them on a hold. They gave me their number, $100,000. They would not give it to me over the phone. They gave it to me when I put them on hold and they did not know I was listening. So you finish your 3-minute hold. And I feel good about that offer I gave them because I gave them exactly what God wanted these two to get. So I feel real good about that. Anyways, you come back from your hold. This is how you're going to approach it. Mrs. Seller, even though the roof is 17 years old and the windows are original, you want to pick out 2 pain points on the property. Even though the roof is 17 years old and the windows are original, the property got approved to be put into the portfolio. It's the first one they've approved for me all week. It's the first one they've approved for me all week. What I want you to do on the piece of paper you jotted all my information down on, I want you to go ahead and write down, guys, follow Eric on Instagram. Perfect. Thank you. I want you to jot down a virtual withdrawal number. Eric, what's a virtual withdrawal number? The underwriters and finance department, every time they're going to make an offer, they transfer the funds into the available account to the spent account. It's literally in an account waiting for you for the day of closing. The virtual withdrawal number is VW12345. Make a number up, but make sure you remember the number. You're going to use that number as urgency or leverage at the end of the call when someone says, I need to think about it. Again, everything I do is there's an intention behind it.
Eric, where in there are you actually giving them the monetary value you're willing to offer?
Right now, I'm getting ready to make an offer.
Okay.
I say it's the first one they've approved for me all week. They've actually given me a virtual withdrawal number. Go ahead and jot it down real quick. Again, I want to see if they're still engaged, right? I want them to be working with me and for me. So if they just sat through 6 minutes worth of holds, like all this shit, I have a motivated seller on the phone right now. Regardless of what anyone thinks, someone goes through all of this, they are motivated and interested. It will come down to a price at this point. So I'm going to say it's the first one they've approved for me all week. The number actually came in a little bit higher than I anticipated. Even though I'm giving them the lowest number, the number came in a little bit higher than I anticipated. It's $150,550. Boom. Then you go into the close, right? That is a 5-step sales process. I like breezed over everything, but it's a process. Every one of my closers out there, I could walk out on the floor and I know where every one of them are at on their phone calls. I could say, he's on step 3, she's on step 4, he's in the close. I know as soon as I walk on my floor, I don't guess where they're at. I hear it and I know they're following a system. So implement it into your business. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer them for you. By all means, shoot away.
I do want to know something, Eric. What's with the bat?
Dude, it's just part of it. So I've been doing phone sales for 13 years, right? If you're not up moving around, or you're not up standing up, or got something in your hands, like I keep in my office some rubber bands just to keep the blood flowing. There's levels to this shit, dude. There really is. I'm not a guy that's going to sit in a chair all day long. When I come in at 9 in the morning, right? When my team comes in at 9, they're coming in energized. By fucking 10:30, they're either in a better mood or a worse mood. By 12 o'clock, better, worse. By fucking 3, they're either fucking completely out of the game, where I tell them, put some in your hand, stand up. Everyone on my team has a wireless headset, a stand-up desk. I encourage them to do it. I got bats laying around all over my office. Like when you're pitching, man, I'm standing up, I'm swinging a bat. I'm keeping my blood flowing, because I know my competition. It's all about your competition, man. What are you going to do your competition is not willing to do? I'm going to bring energy to the conversation. I'm not a guy that's hunched over in my seat. It's fucking eating Doritos with fucking my dick in my hand. Excuse my language. But I'm not that guy. I will outwork and outsmart my competition. I know what this industry's made of. Nothing against them, but I know what's out there. I know what these sellers have been through. 99% of their conversations they have frustrate the shit out of these sellers. They'll spend 5-10 minutes with an inexperienced wholesaler. God bless them. I'll call you back with an offer. They answered the same question and they never get a call back with an offer. Right? Put yourself in the seller's shoes for 1 minute. What they have been through over the course of a year with this industry. Think about that. You put yourself in the shoes of a seller for just a year, what they have been through. We can raise our hand. What markets are you in? We're probably all in the same 5 markets. We're all calling the same data. We're beating the shit out of these sellers. So when a seller answers the phone and says hello, I know his uncertainty level is at an all-time high. It's as high as it's ever been. And I know my job is to get it down, right? To get him from being completely uncertain to being certain. Man, maybe this guy is different than every other phone call that I've had. How am I going to separate myself from the competition? That's what a sales process will do for you.
So
How are you-
Eric, we got here So we got here, most of us, they do PPC and Facebook because we are a digital marketing agency, and all of these are members from
Right on.
our company. So with PPC, obviously we have people that would be clicking on every single ad and obviously filling out this ad because of the urgency of them wanting to sell, right? You're probably going to fill out minimum one ad in Google, or even on Facebook, they will be retargeted by a lot of other people doing Facebook. So with this process, you're separating yourself from these other wholesalers 100%. Like, do you do the exact same thing, obviously with PPC? Like, how do you take those leads, for instance?
Treat them all the same, brother. Love the one you're with and make an offer to all of them. PPC leads. I'm not the only one they're going to, either I'm the first one they talk to, or I'm in a line of people they're waiting on offers from. So I'm going to take them through an entire process. I'm going to make an offer, and I'm going to try and close the deal down on that phone call.
We got here Camille. Actually, he's one of your students. Actually, I believe you've been taking Eric's trainings. Is that right, Camille?
100%. Yeah,
yourself?
I actually got a bat too, and trust me, this motherfucker works, man.
No way, you got a bat too. I think
Oh,
you've been
shit.
locking up more contracts lately, man. Is it
So
is it like the process that you change it up, or?
I followed his step process to the T, and I went from having one contract in a month to now having 4 locked up, 3 being dispoed already, and I'm working on 3 as we're speaking. So this is why I encouraged everybody on yesterday's phone call. If you're not fucking here, I don't know, man. Like this dude changed my business 100%.
Appreciate you,
And hands
bro.
on media too,
And-
man.
And you listen, guy, you as well. Me and Eric speak almost on a daily basis. Like he truly is fucking here for you. Whatever you need, all you got to do is reach out, and he helps you 100%, man. And I appreciate you, Eric. I really do.
Thank you, brother.
I mean, Camilo, did you come from a sales background or something, or was it that this entire thing just gave you a whole different perspective of it?
Dude, I used to build sprinkler systems in New York City. I did skyscrapers, making waterfall. I had nothing to do with sales. I didn't know how to talk to these people. I'm sure Carlos and Juan went back and listened to my phone recordings and were like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
You're
And,
right.
And Eric put me on the right track, man. Like he really I'm appreciative. I'll forever be appreciative, man.
For sure, brother. That's the importance of it, man. You have the script, right? Yeah. So
Yeah, I got the script joining your 6-week sales course. Yep.
Yeah. So the guy has a script. Now, he came from building sprinklers, right? He has a script and a sales process in place. He's got and a bat, right? And a bat. He's got multiple more contracts than he's ever had signed up. He's got more dispoed right now that I'm assuming than he's ever had dispoed in a single month. And he's just it's not like overnight he became a rock star of a closer. What he does is he now has a script he's gone off of. He's following this process. He's putting his own person, however he sounds like on the phone, I don't know, but I guarantee you he sounds way better today than he did 30 days ago. That I can assure you of.
And the most important thing, Eric, is I'm actually having quality conversations and not getting fucking hung up on. It used to be, hey, what's the age of your roof? Hey, listen, I don't have time. Click. You know what I mean? This really fucking separates you from everything.
Yeah. Yep. Appreciate you.
All right, sounds good. I think we got here Jacob looking for a bat, man. I think you gotta do like an Amazon list here of bats, like so people can go and they're like, okay, I'm gonna get this bat or whatever rubber bands.
I'm actually part of my brand. I believe I kid you not. I'm incorporating bats. So I'm going to have my own like my own tagline on bats. And I'll like people that come through the class that want them and shit. I'm going to start selling bats. So
What's the tagline? What's gonna be the movement tagline?
sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Still the sizzle, not the I love that. Oh man. So all right, just I want everyone to go on a question Q&A. If you guys have questions, like I want you guys to drop a few questions before we jump here out of this. Obviously, how can we find Eric or find out more about your next 6 weeks? I know that you got it going.
Yeah, honestly, if you want to find, it's going to be like, I think in 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. If you want to know, DM me, dude. I'm answering the DMs. DM me. I'll send you a link. It's 6 weeks. It's every Tuesday for 6 weeks at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's $2,500 a head. If you're in this group, I'll give you a $250 off, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you're in this group, I'll give you a discount. I give you my script. I spend 6 weeks with you. And then after the 6 weeks, I'm actually starting something called the Inner Circle, where we spend 6 months with each other and anyone else that joins the Inner Circle, to where we continue to grow with each other for 6 months. I do continued sales training with you. That way, after 6 weeks, I don't just leave you to the fucking wolves trying to figure out how to become better. We work together for 6 months. The 6 months Inner Circle, it's $200 a month. $200 a month. And we spend every other week for at least an hour together. Fucking is a no-brainer.
Man, imagine if you can help also, or we can help people get acquisition teams, like whether that's like follow-up specialists and acquisition managers too, so that obviously they go in and get inserted into the sales process. That's elevating any sales department of any business here in wholesaling. I think that would be huge.
Best platform to reach is going to be on IG. It's the Eric Cline. My closers, I'm just answering Noah Johnston. I run all the numbers for my company right now. I run all the ARVs, all the offers, all the sell-ats. I give them their ranges. I'm actually trying to hire for that person right now. I don't put it in the hands of my closers. Not that I don't trust them, but if I wanted them, I'm not going to leave my business model in their hands. That's the silliest thing I've ever heard. I'm going to run all the numbers. I'm going to give them the green light on what they can make and the reason, or what we can offer. The reason is if you leave it in their hands, they're always going to take the path of least resistance. They're going to give more money than they should, faster than they should.
And then with that, are you giving them those numbers like before the call, while they're on the call? How do you do that?
Great question. When they hit, once they're done with step 1, step 2, and they get into step 3, which is the house, that's about a 10+ minute conversation, right? They'll put in a Slack group. I have a Slack channel called Offers Needed. It's called Offers Needed. And then in my CRM, every lead has its own unique property ID number. So they'll be like, once they've made it through intro, they've done fact find, they know they got a lead on the phone they're going to take to the mat, right? They're going to go all the way to a fucking offer. They'll say property ID 1, 2, 3, 4, and they just put it in Offers Needed. And I know I need to start running numbers on that deal. My highest offer that I allow them to give still has $20,000 in it. Will I take a deal under that? Of course. Anytime they make an offer, they always start with their low, right? Always. They're not allowed to come up off that number until they put the person on hold again and come to me and get authorization. And what that does for your pitch is it fucking miracles. Let me tell you why. When you're now negotiating with the seller, negotiate in inches, not miles. Negotiate in inches, not miles. You don't need to give the farm away on the first negotiation. Negotiate in inches, not miles. Pennies, not dollars, right? Negotiate in pennies, not dollars. So when you're in negotiation, I offered 100, they want 150. And I say, all I'm authorized to spend is $100,000. I'm sorry, I'm an acquisition manager. This is what they've authorized. In order for me to get $1 more, I got to put you back on hold and I got to go back and get an approval for a raise. When you put them on hold for 3 minutes, again, 3 minutes, now you got someone that's waited 9 minutes on a telephone in complete silence. What is that seller thinking about now? Only numbers. They're not thinking about the age of the roof. None of that shit. They're only thinking about numbers. They're now in a negotiation with you. So when you put them on hold for that 3 minutes to go get a raise, you'll be shocked at what they talk about when you put them on mute. Oh my fucking God. Do you really think you're going to give us 150,000? Oh my God. What if they don't? Like, that's where, when you negotiate, you don't live negotiate. You never give them an offer and then give them another offer without putting them on hold. Ever. That is a rookie fucking move if you're doing that. I don't care in the negotiation if you have to put them on hold 3 more times. You put them on hold 3 times. They're going to talk every single time you put them on hold. They're going to start opening their lips, not knowing that you're listening to them. So don't live negotiate. Always put them on hold.
Eric, at some point, does any of these sellers go into, I mean, you have to do like a follow-up or something, or do you like a two-call process or something like that?
100% happens all the time, man. The money's in the follow-up. The money's in the follow-up, right? And I go into, like in my class, I go into negotiation. I go into follow-up. I go, like, there's so much to this, right? There is levels to this sales game. There's levels to it. What level are you on? Are you an amateur? Are you somebody that's just getting by? You call yourself an acquisitions manager? Like, there's people that are broke. There's people that make okay money. There's people that do well. Then there's motherfuckers that crush it. What level are you on and what are you doing to get to the next level?
This is sweet, man. I think if anyone here got all the questions answered and you guys love this, drop a fire emoji here. I'd like to see some fire emojis here. We'll still have 36. We were able to get 43 people in total, but I'll drop a fire emoji if you guys love this, and because Eric has so much to give, and I feel like everyone should be looking at systemizing their sales process at all times. We do it too here at any company. At the end of the day, like, we're a sales and marketing organization. Eric, do you have like a Calendly account or something that if people want to like just get it done, or just a landing page to know about it, or is it just the DMs?
DM me, man. I can send you a breakdown of the class, all that stuff. I'm having my teams build it. I did not come into this space and have any intentions on doing sales coaching. I did not. Like, it was not my intentions at all. I saw a massive gaping hole in this industry and I'm like, fuck, these people need help. Like, this industry needs serious help. Too many people are jumping into this industry and they're giving up before the miracle happens. And why are they giving up? Because the message they're listening to about wholesaling and locking deals up is all wrong. It's all wrong. I'm sorry. And I will change I say this confidently, I will change the game when it comes to a sales process in the wholesale real estate industry. I'm going to give the new guy a shot of making it in this industry but just DM me. I'm having what I was trying to get at is I'm building everything out right now. That's why I'm personally doing all the sales training myself. I'm doing it on a Zoom call. I only allow 40 people into each class. They sell out every single time. It's like, I'll refer to it as crack, right? I give people the first hit for free and they're fucking bound and determined to come back to get more, baby.
I love that, man. Eric, is there anything that you wanted to know from the entire Hustle Media community? We're a community of online hustlers. I'm gonna get you in the Online Hustlers podcast, man, so that you can have some stage time there. I want to have you like in person. Let's come to Miami. Let's have an in-person one.
Dude, you ain't
Like-
gotta threaten me with a good time.
Don't you love Miami? I know you're from Florida, but wouldn't you like to come here to Miami and have a podcast here with me?
Honestly, no, I hated Miami, but anyways.
We're gonna do Fort Lauderdale, man, or just virtual. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale, dude. I went down to Miami. I felt like it was in a whole other world.
Miami, it's the only city in the United States that it's like Latin America, but like it's the US.
Yeah.
It's the only city that's not really like US.
Agree,
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
Nothing
Oh,
against
man.
it. I just didn't like it.
Yeah, man. A lot of people just there's a lot of things going on in here.
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate everybody, man. I don't know like what level everybody is on in their wholesale journey, or if this is all you do, but like I appreciate your time. Like I don't take this lightly. If nobody's told you that they believe in you, like I believe in you, you can do anything you want. I'm a fucking proven example. You know, you can be smoking crack 13 years ago, wanting to take your life. And today I stand here and people are inviting me to fucking give information out. It's like, what the fuck? Nobody wanted me around 13 years ago. I wasn't allowed at my mom's house for Christmas 13 years ago. And now people are saying nice things about me. Fucking shit. Life has changed, dude. And it ain't all about the money. Like I've been miserable, literally miserable, making $6, $7, $8 million a year, not gross, netting to my bank, making $6, $7, $8 million a year. And I was a miserable fucking piece of shit. Miserable. Like I feel good today. Like I like who I'm becoming. I'm always trying to be a better husband, better father. Like I understand the game, right? I know how to make money. I don't think I'm ever going to go broke again in my life. I really don't. I'm too scared to go back to being broke, where the fucking hustle in me is real. It's real. I have a real fear of going broke again. So it'll be a cold day in fucking hell before this guy goes broke. What I do want to be better at, I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better role model for fucking any underdog out there that doesn't think they can make it. Second chances are real. Third chances are real. Like your feet don't have to be where they're at today, tomorrow. All that shit's real, bro. And I want to be a living, proving example of that shit.
Guys, and from what I saw and meeting Eric the first time in person in Hustle Harder Club event, man, he's such a great dad. Like you should see like his kid, just the way that he looked at his dad and the way that he like want to be with him. This guy see him as an example. Like this little kid sees him as someone that, wow, I'm very impressed by him. I want to be right beside him. And Eric gives the same type of energy back, and I love that. So I respect a lot of the things that that Eric and I can, how I got to meet Eric, and also he's ex-partner of one of the speakers that came in here to talk about outbound marketing, and probably a lot of you guys know Scott. So
Scotty too hotty.
Yes. Scotty the too hottie. Yeah, yeah.
That's what my son calls him, Scotty Too Hottie. Oh shit. But yeah, man, listen, I appreciate everybody on here. Someone said, what's your why? Let me just answer the last question. Man, there's a lot of whys, but I always think about my son, man. I come from a fucking family where my dad's a piece of shit. Biggest piece of shit I know, right? Beat the shit out of me. Couldn't go to school because I had 2 black eyes. Like, beat the shit out of me. I was abused as a kid. He didn't care. He didn't love me. He didn't hug me. He didn't kiss me. And my why is when my son looks at me today, I'm a superhero in that kid's eyes. I'm a superhero. I never want to let him down. I never for a second want that kid to think, man, does my dad love me or not? I love him so much. And my mission is for my kids to always look at me and think, fuck, I'm proud of that dude. Because I'm not proud of my dad at all. I fucking despise the scumbag. He could die tomorrow. And I know this sounds cold-hearted. This is how I feel about the man. He could die tomorrow. And I don't think I would shed a tear. I don't want my kids to feel that way about me. I love my kids to death. I've never felt a love like this in my life. And when the day comes, I'd never want my son to not think I have a superhero cape around my neck. I'd never want him to not think I'm the guy he thinks I am right now. So I show him as much love and drive as I possibly can. And that's it, man. That is truly my why. I know I'm not going to go broke. I want to be a shining example for my kids.
Thanks, man, for sharing that. I'm pretty sure that drove you to do a lot of great things for right now for your for your kid, for your family. Man, yeah. I gotta get a bat too. Who's gonna get a bat here?
Everyone's gonna get a bat. How long does this thing go? Like when I say I legit run comps for my team, I got in offers needed right now. They're waiting for me to run comps. They don't fucking make offers without it, bro. I won't teach them how to fully run them. I don't trust it. Are we done?
Yeah, I mean, does anyone have any questions? I think we
Eric, you got a course on teaching us how to run comps. I want to join that shit too. I've been pricing my shit too high.
Yep. Yeah. When I say just join the inner circle, bro, for the 6 months, $200 a month.
Right.
At bi-weekly, we're gonna meet. Are you in this class or were you in last class?
I'm in all your fucking classes.
I know you are. Fuck, everywhere I go, this fucking guy's popping up on the screen. But
and every time I learn something different.
Yeah, just join the inner circle. Dude, we're gonna go over literally everything.
Okay.
Everything. The fucking 3 of those cigars probably cost $200. All right.
Robert asked if they join your course, they join your stuff, will you send them a bat with your it's sell the sizzle, not the whistle. What was it?
You sell the sizzle, not the steak.
Not the steak. There you go.
Sell the sizzle, not the whizzle.
There you go.
The answer is no, I won't send you a fucking bat, but you'll close enough deals to be able to afford as many bats as you want.
Okay. All right. He's not gonna send a bat, but he's gonna have his own brand on a bat.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. Hey, y'all, appreciate you to death. Love y'all to death. And no one told you you can do it. I believe in every single one of you. Fuck the naysayers. Go against the grain. And everybody just absolutely crush it. All right?
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one. And thank you for being here. I appreciate you a lot.
Appreciate it,
everyone
brother.
that came in here. Go follow the Eric Cline on Instagram right now and send him a message if you're interested about anything that he has to offer. It's huge to have a sales process, and I love having you guys here. So bye-bye and take care.